Okay, cool. So I had been in business for, I don't know, probably 12 or 13 years and chugging along just fine. It was just a small business, um, and and things were going fine. I kind of was on top of everything. And then won a couple of new clients and essentially just found that while everything was going well, I was just working way too hard and I didn't really know how to not. So I realized I needed some help in just, having somebody help me sort through prioritization or whatever it was. I realized I was in need of coaching. So I literally Googled coaching and obviously researched a couple of different companies. Ivan and Joe, it was at the time, came and chatted, and I just found this nice connection with Ivan. He's very unassuming and softly spoken and a very good listener. So locked it in. And I think essentially just need really, more than anything, somebody to talk to, somebody with a lot of experience who could just bring some wisdom, some clarity and some perspective to what was going on. Because things were going well, as I said, financially things were going well. We were getting new business. We were doing well. We were enjoying it. It was just too hardcore. So he really started off by just helping me understand prioritization better and understanding, yes, there will always be too much to do. But when you choose, I think one of the main things he taught me early on was recognizing the price of doing everything that you're trying to do, the opportunity cost of that. So if you were able to drop some of those things and just dive in deeper to the things that really matter, how much better that would be. So that was a bit of a process helping me to learn that, but that went really well. And then as time went on, I think we realized that a big challenge or something that would really help me more is to empower the next level of my team to have more leadership skills and coaching skills and the ability to lead their people so that it wasn't always sort of dependent on me. So we went through a whole lot of work around identifying which skill sets could be evolved and how that could empower them more. And a full scope of activity has gone on. So yeah, he's helped with coaching around leadership. He's helped, as I said, with prioritization. And then in more recent years, we looked at more financials around the business and getting a little bit more structure around that. But for the most part, it's been more the soft and fuzzies and leadership and how you maintain a really positive culture through growth. One of our big assets has always been a strong culture, and I was scared of losing that with a bit of scale. So he was really good at helping me identify what that was and what was important in keeping that and all those sorts of things. And then I think, as with anybody when you're managing people, just really teaching myself and the team how to approach anything that's a bit tricky. I realized after a while that anything that was a little bit confrontational or sort of not necessarily what I would deem a positive, I would avoid it. So, and again, there's a price to that. So just really giving us tools and teaching us tools that meant that we were, I guess, brave enough to tackle anything that might come up that isn't necessarily all smooth sailing, and realizing that that's just a very natural thing. It's always going to come up, and there's no way of avoiding that. And in fact, quite often that's the path to growth and personal growth, company growth, and deepening of relationships. There's so many positives around that. And so avoiding that, which is what I had previously done or what we had previously been doing, really kind of had its price of keeping things a little bit shallower and holding people's personal development back. I think one of the things that I really enjoyed about it is that your coach generally doesn't tell you anything. They just ask the right questions. And I found that very empowering, that often all you need is the opportunity to talk through it with somebody who has the skill to guide the conversation and ask the right questions. And I found it very empowering to see that actually I could come up with a lot of those things myself with the right guidance. So that was surprising, I think, and maybe unique to him or to AltusQ, I'm not sure, but I feel like that was something that was a little bit surprising. I didn't necessarily foresee that, and I really enjoyed that. And I think the other thing is it's just so nice. Well, I actually really enjoyed speaking to somebody who's not invested in the people or the industry or is very neutral. Potentially, I even was a little dubious before starting that somebody from outside could be able to advise on that, because I think I probably would have felt that you'd need to know those ins and outs. And it was quite interesting for me to see that actually it's a benefit to not know, because you can be more objective. I will say that for the first few years, we really only worked on the softer side, like sort of the more intangible side. And I found it really interesting that when we opened up the financial aspect, or the more sort of, the cut and dry aspects, how powerful his contribution was as well. Because I'd only ever seen sort of those more sort of intangibles. So I think it was really great having somebody who is really solid in all those fundamental business pieces, but equally as proficient and compelling in the way that they can bring across the softer side of business that's so important as well. So I found it very, fascinating actually that somebody can be so good at both. I've told him very many times that I think he's a very beautiful man, but he might get embarrassed if I say that. Right. Sorry, Ivan.